A diplomatic row has broken out tonight between the British and Greek governments.
Here's a reason to never let Sunak near the reins of power ever again, and possibly demonstrates his childish behaviour, or at least his inability to handle diplomatic situations with an air of competence.
Over the Elgin marbles.
Secretary of State, talk to me about what's going on with the Greek Prime Minister this morning. Have we snubbed him?
Well, look, the Prime Minister's made our position on the Elgin marbles very clear. They're part of the British Museum's collection, and we think they should remain there.
Mitsotakis said in a statement, quote, "I express my annoyance that the British Prime Minister cancelled our planned meeting just hours before it was due to take place."
And it's a row, as you say, about the Elgin marbles, or Parthenon sculptures, as the Greek government call them, that sit in the British Museum in London. There's been a long-running argument about whether or not they should be returned. Or
whatever, you still meet and talk. You don't just cancel your appointments hours beforehand.
At least sent back to Greece for a period of time. Now, the Greek Prime Minister was on the BBC yesterday talking to our colleague Laura Kuenssberg.
This is not a question of returning artifacts whose ownership we question. We feel that these sculptures belong to Greece.
The Prime Minister wasn't able to meet the Greek Prime Minister. He was offered a meeting with the Deputy Prime Minister, which proved not to be possible for him to take up. So I don't think I'd characterise it the way you have. Discussions continue between our governments about important matters. So the Deputy Prime Minister was happy to meet with him today, but that proved not to be possible.
You know, if you're a Prime Minister, you expect when you're in another country to speak to the other Prime Minister at that level. I think it is a snub. I can understand why he's taken the huff at it. And you're right, you make a very good point there, Elliot, in that there was an opportunity there. You know, you could talk about the marbles in the margins. You could just, park it, say, we don't agree, that's fine, but let's talk about the stuff that we actually need to talk about.
That's right. This was another example of Sunak doing what he wanted, following his own self-centred beliefs, rather than doing what was right and professional.
Such as immigration, the economy, the war in Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, all that type of stuff. So that opportunity has now been lost.
And it's clear that the Greek Prime Minister is baffled and annoyed at this cancellation.
OK, so no one's meeting with him. I mean, he's incredibly important. Greece is incredibly important to the UK, not least when it comes to curbing illegal migration. Surely it's not appropriate to snub him in this very public way.
Could it have been the fact that Keir Starmer's open to the idea of giving the Elgin marbles back, so maybe Sunak was taking a contrary position? Or was it the fact that Sunak felt snubbed because the Greek Prime Minister met with Starmer first?
So a public row breaking out this evening between two European governments whilst the Greek Prime Minister is here in London and had been expecting this meeting with the British Prime Minister, a meeting that now will not happen.
Click here to see Sunak getting stroppy with a Question Time audience member.